Welcome back, folks, to QVC, or the Quarantine Violent Criminal Shopping Network, with me, Joe McCarthy, as your host. I got a sweet deal for you right here, right now, Merkins. All right. 40 years ago, we introduced the McCatchmator 1.0 for catching all them commies. Now, for a limited time only, we're offering you the McCatchmator 2.0 for catching all the Merca-hating terrorists with the press of a button instead of 4 like the McCatchmator 1.0. There's only one button for one option: terrorist, yay or nay. It'll pop right up on this year's screen and connect to the terrorist hotline at 1-800-PROTECT-MERCA. With the help of you folks, we can weed out all them terrorists with our hotline responders connecting to the FBI. Airports around the world to band them up. As a success story of our original McCatchmator, our innovative device caught Julius and Ethel Rosenberg conspiring to commit espionage in 1951, and we shocked them in the electric chair. Yeehaw! They could have revealed our nuclear secrets to the Soviets if not for our device. Who cares if they said they're innocent? Help Merca today.
Ni hao! Welcome to China's Compatibility. I'm your host, Bernard. Today we have our two fortune finders, Chang and Mao. We will see if they're compatible after we ask them a series of revealing questions. They do not know each other's identity. Okay, let's bring them in. So first, guys, what are your hobbies?
Crushing Japan and communism with my armies. Unifying China.
I like to swim. I also enjoy writing book. Little red cover, very nice. Hun hao.
Mao, I think everyone wants to know. Just one book?
Well, Hun Chi Huan. This one, my favorite.
What do you look for in a partner?
Someone powerful, who can take control.
Someone I can dictate, so pretty much anybody. Looking for a fifth wife.
What are your core values as a leader?
To unify China under nationalist control.
To industrialize China and revive our great culture through the Cultural Revolution and communist system.
Tell me, what is your take on the tensions between the Communist East and the Democratic West?
I support the U.S. in its fight against communism. They must defeat the Soviets by any means necessary.
I believe the U.S. should end its Cold War against the Soviets and focus on strengthening its own infrastructure instead. A country needs a strong economy and unified citizens to be a truly powerful nation. However, the actions of other countries do not concern me unless they threaten the prosperity of China.
Guys, what would you do about the modern-day war on terror between the West and the Middle East?
I would attack the Middle East and kill off the terrorists, and if all else fails, escape to Canada. It worked for me when I attacked the communists in Manchuria, failed, and got to rule Taiwan.
Exile, arrest, or kill these threats to Obama's reign, like how I rid my country of all educated citizen and foreign influence, so they could no longer be a threat to my power.
Let's see if they're compatible. Not today, folks. Looks like Mao and Chang won't be ruling China together. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we'll have Putin and Obama.
Last season on The Real Warriors of the Cold War, post-war Europe was the talk of the bloc. Eastern Bloc, that is. After the victory in Europe, the Big Three met at Yalta Conference where Russia agreed to declare war on Japan once Germany surrendered. At the Potsdam Conference, Stalin, Truman, and Churchill agreed Germany was to be divided into 4 zones of occupation. Later, the Soviet Union created the Berlin Blockade in an attempt to starve out the Allies in Berlin in order to gain supremacy. Capitalist dominance was once again conveyed in the US's response to the blockade through the implementation of the Berlin Bloc airlift. Mutual distrust formed between the US and the USSR as a result of opposing ideologies in the arms race. The Cold War is imminent. Tune in for Season 2 as the warriors hash out their old resentments and forge new friendships.
To be honest, I'm the only true man here. Quit stalling, I'm rushing to meet you. You trying to cross me? I'm a nuke you. Okay. I'm going to crush you.
Whoever said you win some, you lose some has never met me.
People may think I'm sweet, but I got my eyes on you.
I wouldn't get too fiscally involved in the war on terror, but implement the 3-part strategy that I used during the Cold War, which entails military strength, dialogue with Russia, and the United States of Europe, in which the European countries unite, cooperation with US in the Middle East, and the UN would be needed for the war to ever end. I favor mutual resolution rather than the aggressive foreign policy that the US favors. Not to brag or anything, but I did predict the weather for the late 1900s. It was cold. And the solutions I proposed from the very beginning were eventually adopted.
I think America is doing a great job with its NSA and Homeland Security, as well as its use of the drone, to keep its citizens on a tight rein and to practice racial profiling. However, I believe the US should take a page from my book and implement a system of gulags and a great purge in order to make the citizens appreciate what they have and get rid of the terrorists going against your government.
I'm so glad we decided to use the Marshall Plan to provide economic relief to Germany. This means that Britain can use Germany as a trading partner in the future.
But the Germans have invaded Russia twice already. They can never be trusted again. We must squash them. It is clear an iron curtain divides our stances.
I would do something similar to the Truman Doctrine, where the US supported Greece and Turkey with economic and military aid to prevent their falling into the Soviet sphere, and stopping the spread of communism with the idea of containment. Applied to the modern war on terror, this would mean funding countries in the Middle East, such as Iraq and Afghanistan, to help squelch spreading terrorist organizations while stimulating democratic governments. We wouldn't want the domino theory occurring in the Middle East. All hell would break loose. Hey, Churchill, want a drink?
Absolutely. So, I'm so glad that we agreed to do this NATO thing. All the Western democracies getting together to really stop these Eastern communist countries under the Warsaw Pact.
This brings up the tactic of brinkmanship so that the Soviets always think that we're ready to attack. This creates a threat of the mutually assured destruction so that the Soviets are always cautious, thinking that we're going to attack.
In my doctrine, I promise military and economic aid to all Middle Eastern countries needing help in resisting communist aggressions. To end the war on terror, the U.S. must continue funding countries like Afghanistan to help rebuild their country and restore peace and liberties, as well as helping the democratic governments rise over the radical terror groups.
I'm so glad Stalin is dead. I can finally enforce Khrushchevism, which includes advocating a more liberal tolerance of some cultural dissent and deviance, a more welcoming international relations policy and attitude towards foreigners, a repudiation of Stalinist arbitrariness and terror tactics. I think the U.S. should use Khrushchevism in the war on terror. They should be more welcoming of the foreign influences in their so-called melting pot and establish a foreign policy of peaceful coexistence with the religions in the Middle East. Eisenhower, aren't you glad I got the first artificial space satellite in space through Sputnik? Where's your progress? Where's your progress?
The race isn't over yet.
It's a goddamn waste of time and money to try and solve anything diplomatically. Like, I don't know why Truman wouldn't just let me invade China. Ugh. There's only two solutions in warfare. Invade them sorry waste of skins or nuke them. The U.S. should do that for the war on terror. 13 years of war is too long. It could have ended in 13 seconds with the use of nuclear weapons. Operation Enduring Freedom lets us go into Afghanistan. I think that's a great idea. Go Bush!
We need to invade China using the nationalist troops from Taiwan. We need to squash that People's Republic of China.
You see, MacArthur, I'm not sure I can go along with this again. I already put my name on the line for you when we invaded North Korea to squash the communist forces, and I just don't think I can do it again.
We can't let communism be a threat.
I just can't do this. I just can't. I'm gonna have to put you off if you keep arguing with me like this.
No!